Good afternoon, everyone. I hope this afternoon finds all of you well. Those of you that are struggling, I hope nothing for the best for you to come out of this. You know, suffering isn't a fun thing, you know. So I hope that all of you get yourselves well and out of suffering. Some of you have emotional and mental issues you're fighting as well. And don't forget, these are hooked to your body. Your bodies, multiple bodies, are all hooked together. So finally, you can't even tell you have them. You can't even tell that the mind is a totally separate entity than the human body. You can't tell that when you're emotional, you're using a finer body other than the human physical body. That's how good God is. It's so wrapped you can't even feel the inner dimensions within yourself. You just can't. You don't know these things, you know, till you pull away from. You know, it's like if your attention's on something over here, you can't see something over here. So once you withdraw your attention over here and look around, you might be able to see it over here. That's if you're using your mind. If you're being who you are, a soul, we'll use that word, and you're in the present moment of the now, where you're not thinking. Then you're observing, you're watching basically, and therefore you can see all these things popping. So it's better to try to live your life in that way. Interesting whole situations change when you start using the consciousness of yourself as opposed to the thought processes that the mind offers you. Big difference. In the words of Honey Bobo. I hope, did you guys see that one? I have to tell you, I haven't laughed at a sitcom in quite a while. And that one was funny, Honey Bobo. My part of the country, southern Indiana, that one just happens to be in Georgia. But okay, so I want to go through. We do have some eyes here, and I don't know about getting Drew here. I want you to also remember about chemical toxicities. And this is something for you practitioners out there. Don't forget chemical toxicities, where it was like Dano, poor guy. I look at his eyes and I feel like he's trapped in chemical toxicities. And this is part of the problem. I had a chemist in the office here a few months ago, and he felt there was well over 2,000 neurotoxins produced by man. And as long as man keeps playing and delving in the world of chemistry and ripping things apart, we're going to see the rearrangement of chemistry. And that is the fear of a lot of higher thinker chemists and physicists about the breaking of the atoms and the rearrangement of chemistry. You know, those people that think beyond just isolated thoughts to encompass what could be the side effect of all of this. So pretty wild, like pharmaceutical side effects. I'll say that 90% of the sufferings, you know, especially this high-end stuff, can be traced to the suppression of the lymph system by pharmaceuticals. You can see it every time. Anytime you suppress a huge system like the lymph system that deals with the corrosive or acid side of chemistry, you're walking down a dangerous road. And that road all leads to the pains, the swellings, the sufferings, the heart attacks, the strokes, the tumors, the cysts, the cancers. All of that road mostly lies on the acid side of chemistry and the lymph system. There is alkalosis, no question. That's the buzzy side of life. Now, I want to get to these questions because I'm probably way behind, but I'm hoping that all our great Facebook people and stuff are helping you all. And there's several other sites that you all have chosen. Some of you have started your own sites, and I'm very proud of every one of you. And I think you can all take that and wear that and understand that you're all doing very well to help this planet to raise its consciousness and get out of this suffering band into a higher level of healing and thinking, which is essential, I think. But then again, it's hard to judge the worlds of God, and you really don't want to, but it's hard not to when you have a body and you're grossly affected by all outcomes. But it prepares you for your worlds. You know, there is an area where it's all your worlds, and interesting to see what happens when you're cut loose like that. This is strong-willed in good health. You know, I like that, strong-willed. You know, some of you guys that are suffering psychologically and stuff, sometimes you're just going to have to grab your boots and get beyond that body, get beyond that mind, get beyond that emotions, and try to find some stability outside of creation to where you're not flipping with your mind or your emotions. This is a time where you can really learn from the consciousness of the now as opposed to thought, because you notice that when your problems come in is during thought and emotions. So you have to spiritually learn how to fix these things, how to get beyond them. And I understand the fear people have. That's why you and everyone should take time to get solid with themselves. So they spend time alone. So they understand that no matter what door they come to, they must always rely on themselves and the consciousness of who they are, not their aberrations, and become strong. Become real strong with who you are. And there's no definition of that. And that's the problem. When I say be strong who you are, it's almost ominous, like move those limbs. But when you understand move those limbs means that you're, one, getting into the adrenal glands that turns them on, two, you're getting into the bowels, which are vital to helping to drain the head. You're getting into the lymph system itself. Now, how do you get into these systems? I only use herbs and fruits and berries and melons. We use the glandulars at times, of course, but outside of that, herbs and fruits and berries and melons, those are the 4 high-level healers and detoxifiers on the planet. Vegetables, good old boys with the white hats, you know, comes in a lot of times, but at the same time, you'll see way out there. Maybe, I know Babe is definitely in a discussion, probably on one of the channels, but, you know, 365 days now, or is this going to be 6 days now? Well, over a year now. And when you get way out there, you have to be real careful how you enter. She's getting so sensitive to all types of foods. And it's what happened to me. You get so sensitive that it's real hard being pure in a toxic world. That's all I got to say. Toxic on a lot of levels. So you must be real smart when you get up there in these high levels there. So let's go on and cover some of these cases. And I think these cases are real important. You know, I was talking to someone about that, one of the YouTubers about that the other day on the phone, and she was saying how she felt they were important. I was saying, boy, people could only know how important these are. More for practitioners than someone that doesn't have something that we're talking about. But when you begin to understand our focus in every different person's symptoms, and how we tie all that together, and if you get that whole understanding of what acids can do to you, because people have to get real. And real means the world is basically just a bunch of atoms whirling around, and they form chemistry. And so we have power in chemistry and magnetics and all kinds of power, the power to destroy. Look at the power of a hurricane. It's about a bunch of atoms. All right, so this is IM, capsules for children. This is a good question, I think. Thanks for the information, and I really appreciate you taking your time to help your children. I tell you, it's the kids. I thought I would never say this because I've always had to raise kids, but I tell you, they are the future, and I feel that we have to stop and change things, but we can't just dump them over what's going down the road here. They won't have a world. I have a question about the capsules. If a person, be it a child or an adult, has difficulty swallowing the capsules, can a capsule be opened up and herbs be mixed up and consumed with water or juice? That goes without saying. Goes without saying. This especially refers to stomach and bowel number 1 capsules that must be taken while detoxifying. Strong-willed, absolutely. Goes without saying, honey. Absolutely. You open those capsules up, and, you know, we get them. And they've got some... we got one heck of a great guy out there trying to help his poor mom with a little bit of dementia and Alzheimer's, and I'll tell you, he's doing really, really good. All the family's kind of left with him alone with his mom, so this guy's really doing good. There's a point, you know, when you're working with those with dementia and Alzheimer's that you have to get some assistance, because there's a point where it makes it very, very difficult, and his mom is at the point, I think, we're going to have to get a feeding tube, or she needs to go into some assisted living to have some help, because she's so difficult to work with, and he's a male. I think he's doing pretty good, so good job, my friend. You really are good. And all right, this is Debbie. Thanks, sweetheart, for that. Thank you. I'm glad you like Drew and Shannon. It started out with exposure to poison ivy. You know, I had an Amish lady, when I was talking to her once a month, and she was in Indiana. And one month I was talking to her, and I said, "How you doing this month, sweetheart?" And she said, "Well," she said, "I had a whole bunch of poison ivy." I said, "Wow, where'd you get that?" And she said, "I didn't." And I said, "What do you mean you didn't?" She said, "Oh no, this is the poison ivy I had years ago, and it's coming back on me in detox, and it's just coming back everywhere I had it before." Then I have to laugh. She taught me a big lesson, you know, plant acids, you know, but acid on top of acid is not always a good thing, although they do use that, like stinging nettles or some acid fluids on top of acid fluids. We know that one, of course, in chemotherapy, right? You did catch, for those that that shook me about the medical profession, wasn't this oncology nurse one time, how many months ago, was giving me a little hell for banging the medical doctors like that? What was it the other night that came out in the news, that chemotherapy destroys the DNA of healthy cells and is illusionary? It reduces tumors only to explode them and to create cancer all through the body. Did you catch that on the news, anyone? A big study. I'm just friggin' amazed they put it on TV. I'm amazed they let the public see that study, to tell you the truth, because that could set up for some lawsuits, especially if the oncology continues to administer chemotherapy after that study. Then I would say you're in a willful situation of criminal activity then. And it is easy to explain why in chemistry that their concepts don't work, and that their concept of cancer is idiocy, ridiculous, illusionary. Basically, I have no concept of what causes. If you notice, allopathy has really no concept of the very concepts that they created, diseases. Well, we just got to get ourselves together and start getting a higher level of healing power to this planet. That's all that is. Can't keep going down this road. It's a road to Hellville, and so many of you are on it and pulling yourselves back, and I'm proud of you for doing it. But a lot of those people suffering in Hellville is because of allopathy, and that's not good. That's not good. All the use of steroids and the suppression of lymph and all the stuff that's been going on in allopathy is that's mad science. That's a bunch of ridiculous brainos that think that, I don't know what they think. They just don't. They're unaware. They're like lost in the lab of life, which is stirring up creation. Anyway, I'm going to show you her pictures. I think I could show this. You okay with that, Debbie? See that? I've seen that before many, many, many times. You know, I've tried through the years to make this detox as easier and easier as I can get it. Tried to get formulas to pull out sulfurs and stuff like this, and I've really tried hard. But even at that, we still have this type of problem where people will break out all over during detox. I don't know if she did or not. I haven't read this yet, but we've seen this. We had a poor female working for the fire department. She literally broke out. It generally lasts for 2 weeks at least, too. And it can itch like crazy. You want to itch your skin off. And I don't know what to say about it. It just shows you how much kidneys aren't filtering the lymph system. So this started out with exposure to poison ivy. A rash followed. After a week or so, the rash seemed to be spreading, which is not supposed to be possible. Oh no, yeah it is. This is just your body now taking full advantage of this and going, blah, you know. So hot and cold water to the skin, hot and cold showers. You could also, if you're near salt water like a ocean or something, you could go swimming in the salt water, although this is totally internal. This has nothing to do with topical issues at all. This is all inside your body. This is all your subcutaneous tissues are backed up. That's what this shows. The importance of this is you have to see under the skin. You have the epidermis and then the dermis and then the subcutaneous. And that subcutaneous is almost the road. And when you look at iridology, it's almost mixed with the road of the lymph nodes. So it's just that avenue of where lymph can get stagnant too, particularly with the low thyroid. So this case, Deb, you might want to check your thyroid, but your skin is taking that and cleaning it subcutaneously. And I see this a lot of times. It isn't rerouted back to the kidneys. It's going out that skin no matter what. So it isn't a pleasant experience, that's for sure, but they will clear up. I've had the same thing with tumors. People popped out tumors all over them. Near the areas that had large blisters, patches of small clusters were coming out. In hindsight, the second rash was building. I did not realize it was not poison ivy. After about a week, I decided to check to make sure my kidneys were still filtering, and my urine was very cloudy with lots of particles. Yeah, your body was definitely purging, and that is pretty cool. It's uncomfortable. As uncomfortable as that is, I can just see the eyes that go to this case. This is when I concluded I must be releasing more than my kidneys could handle. Yeah, you're smart. You guys are smart on this YouTube and stuff. I'm loving how you guys are grasping and rationalizing and putting things together here, because that's just what it takes. Just common sense. Just have common sense. When you understand that you're up against a gigantic fluid of the human body that has been affected greatly by the function of the kidneys and adrenals. The function of the kidney and adrenals has been totally affected by your diet, what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, and what you put on your skin. These things directly affect the eliminative organs. And study after study after study have linked high protein diets to colon cancer. You can't deny that one. Last year it was a 30-year study. But I can tell you, you're going to find the same studies, and you'll find the same problem with the urinary tract tissue. Same protein that damages GI tract tissue damages urinary tract tissue. And yet everybody wants to jump on the protein bandwagon. I find that just insane. You know, there's just nothing that directs you to the attention of a high-protein diet for a Homo sapien. Absolutely nothing. Nothing in our physiology, nothing in our anatomy, nothing. This is medical doctors' insanity. We're not nitrogen prints, we're carbon prints. I have been taking herbs for kidneys, adrenals, lymph, stomach, and bowel, and eating high fruit for about 3 months. Well, do you see how powerful this level of what you guys are doing are on the human body? And yet, we have some people that are difficult to get at this. Your body, Debbie's exploding on you. It wants to clean itself. It just wants to shake like a dog the water off, the toxins out. So this is what's going on with you. Other people are struggling to overcome, and generally I'll say toxicity from chemicals, including sulfur toxicity from antibiotics and other sulfa drugs. And yet they're pushing MSM, glucosamine. One guy said, my dog has no pain no more. I can give you sulfur compounds and you'll feel that for a while. But behind that, everything is continuing to go down. The knees, everything is continuing to deteriorate. So you really, Debbie, you really kicked it up a pretty good notch, which is good, which is good. A lot of people have to go through this and do this, and unfortunately, hang in there, honey. I mean, we've seen this a lot, and there's not a lot that can help you. Chickweed bass are good. The Hill tea bass are good. Saltwater bass can help. Bicarbonate bass, you know, like that. Put a little salt, put a little sodium bicarb. If you want a little Hill tea, you can, but really your body sounds like it's really opening up. Sounds like your thyroid started picking up too. I contacted your staff to seek guidance. It was suggested I decrease the lymph herbs by half and double the kidney support. Well, this is what traditionally we would recommend, is that you maybe slow down on the lymphatic herbs a little bit and then increase the kidney herbs. Also bathing, yeah, there you go. I have been doing this for 5 days now, and since I called the office, aloe and witch hazel seem to help a bit too. I am really struggling to see through. Yeah, this is common, honey. This is we see this. We don't see it every day, but we do see it, and we do see it, you know, at times. I have attached pictures from today, about 2.5 weeks since this. 2.5 weeks. My knees and elbows are quite swollen right now as well. This is so painful. Wow. It feels like broken glass under the skin. It is. And this glass is called acids. You are breaking up your acid crystals like crazy, honey. Wow. Well, I probably... I don't know. You got two choices: go on a grape fast, or a lemon juice fast, or just break it. You know, go back and start eating some cooked foods and see if you can get the whole body to slow up a bit. The problem with that is just what it sounds like. Everything will slow down. And do we want that or do we not want that? So this has to be in your own individual awareness of your body. And if you really can't handle it anymore, just start eating a bunch of cooked foods and come down off of all this and slow everything down. And then you'll see all that coming down. That's the only other way. Either you got two choices: you either kick it up or slow it down. One of the two. I don't know what to tell you. It's all in what you feel, your intuitiveness about yourself. For me, I'm more in favor of speeding it up than I am slowing it down. But with that said, when you've been struggling for a while, you know, you can get ratted out. So do whatever you want there, my dear. How can I prevent this type of reaction from happening again? This isn't a reaction. This isn't a anaphylactic shock. Or you probably wouldn't be writing this to me right now. You'd have been going to the hospital. This is typical though. I see this a lot, and that's just got to be itching. I know you said you had pain, but you're breaking up your acid crystals. Slow up if you want, sweetheart. I am assuming that I have realized that this was a healing crisis earlier. It would have gotten so intense. In my iris pictures, I have congested, swollen lymph nodes. Yeah, so that'll back up subcutaneously, sweetheart. So that's exactly what you see. Important for all. It's a good lesson for everyone here to understand that too. You guys are very valuable for each other, for learning these lessons and seeing firsthand what everybody's going to go through, because this is just what you're going to see in your own practice. You're going to see these kind of problems, and you don't have to freak out because you know. Now, Debbie's going to make a great healer because she's going through it by firsthand herself. And there's, you know, when you talk to somebody about health or anything else, you want to talk to somebody who's been there. You want to talk to somebody that's done it. And that's what the value of you guys. It doesn't help the situation, but in her iris picture, she has congested lymph nodes. I am thinking this was probably a factor in getting the rash. It sure was, honey. Especially if your lymph nodes. Now, think about this one. This is the scary one. This is the scary one. Now you guys are getting the picture. What would happen if you couldn't move your lymph system because the kidneys just weren't filtering, right? Everything was backing up, and you held these acids in your lymph nodes. What in time is going to happen to the lymph nodes? Deterioration. So you could actually deteriorate your lymph nodes by not moving your lymph. Or as acids coagulate at a certain pH, and after a while things become anionic and become hardened. So a lot of the lymph nodes can become very hardened. A lot of women who have the cancers feel their lymph nodes are hard as a rock. I don't like hardened. That's why we use the castor oil packs or the Laetrels or all of these to loosen up hardened acid clots. not clots, tumors. I don't care what you call them. But these are some of the scary things that we have to consider within a person that are having some of these reactions. A lot of times when you see the lymph rosary on an eye picture, and it's been that way all their life, those lymph nodes are going to be a while breaking loose. They become very solidified, and it could be a while. And that's the scary thing. That means your skin has to be the one that takes care of for a while. Now, she's seeing sediment in her stool too, so she is getting her elimination. But how scary would it be if after all this she was not seeing filtration in her kidneys and she's having this skin problem? See, that you start getting into scary things, and you have to remember that, and also the client has to remember that too and learn that we're just, this information is just coming out, and we have to stop and look back and look at ourselves and see where we are, because people don't talk this way to you. You're either in medical, and naturopathy is disgusting to me. If you're a naturopath out there and you recommend a high protein diet, I highly urge you to turn in your naturopathic degree and quit, because you are barking down a medical tree. And to put naturopathy as in the medical department is revolting to me. And I'm not the oldest naturopath, but I'm certainly one of them. And some of the older guys, that's not their thinking either. But in Florida, naturopathy was using chemical medications. Can you believe that? That's why it all ended over narcotics. Who got to use their narcotics? And look what they've done with them. How many addicted people do we have out there on narcotics? And we're blaming people and throwing them in jail and pharmaceutical companies are still taking no responsibility for addicting so many seniors even. You know how many senior citizens are addicted? I've got a drug dealer down 2 streets, and he's an old senior citizen, got addicted on pain meds. Any responsibility there? No? I am hoping this reaction is fairly rare. That happens, but once you go through it, you won't go through it again, dear one. I'll tell you that. So keep up it and hang tight, sweetheart. You can try some chickweed, if you like, some chickweed tea. Okay. Let me see here. I don't know if this is to be addressed over YouTube. This lady, someone called yesterday, and they're waiting for a call back. They say, I am still in the ER and getting many different recommendations from, or maybe this is something else. I don't know. So let's look at this. Look at this particular one. This is money. It's a protocol question. Oh, it's a protocol question. But here's something that I felt was quite interesting here. Here's an update. I have a few questions. I am out of the hospital. I received enough blood to get me up to a normal hematocrit. I also did the bone marrow biopsy, which showed that everything was working fine in my marrow. Good, 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 good. But get this, right now I am on prednisone as a temporary inflammatory reliever, and I am back on my regular immunosuppressant medication. Could Dr. Morse explain to me how autoimmune conditions are explained through lymphatic problems and acidosis? That's the one question that caught me right off. I thought would be important to address. I think the term autoimmune is just a ridiculous term and it's a baseless term. There is, for me, when I look at the human body and how it responds to the way we feed it, everything is according to the way God made everything. I don't see the body doing anything out of its normal focus when it's on being attacked. And most people eat in such a way that they're attacking their own body with the substances they're putting in them. So when you're putting these kind of foods in a human body, dead tissue, milks that have been cooked until they're almost plastic, milks period beyond the age of 2, starch at the level of man's eating, starch, grains, crap, high proteins, beans, all the dead stuff, the huge amount of nuts, all the huge amount of seeds, all these things. The body's response to all of this it is a given. And you have to understand that these type of foods damage the human body, and particularly the eliminative organs, the GI tract and the colon, because of the chemistry they set up in the body. So your body responds to acidosis. I saw a thing on Mysteries in the Museum. I like that one. I like Dark Matters too. That's pretty cool too. I can't remember which one it was on. It was Louis Pasteur. And even that show was applauding him in his discovery of pathology. And one of man's biggest problems is because of his discovery. And Jenner's too. Jenner's European, both claiming that bacterium was the cause of all man's diseases. I mean, that's insane. So man had to be pretty stupid back then to buy into those things. But he did invent this was about the rabies vaccine, and it definitely was helpful. So there is a reason why these people exist and why they discovered what they do. Unfortunately, humans have to pay the guinea pig price. And so there's certain cases where that would work like rabies. But if you got bit by a rabid animal, what would you do naturally to deal with that besides the rabies shots in the stomach? Or the same thing could be said about a snake bite, or a scorpion bite, or a black widow, or a brown recluse. What would you do? We get a ton of these bites, particularly brown recluse. And when they come in from the hospital's been working on them for, and this we see every time. They go to the hospital, and then the hospital uses high doses of antibiotics, and it starts to spread and get bigger, and they freak out, and they come in here, and within the week we have it all cleaned up and gone. So that's the beauty of understanding your lymphatic system and that. But you must also understand, if it's an organ transplant, frequencies. And what nature, how nature looks at itself. You know, when nature sees a weakness, it stamps it out. Stamps it out. Man puts his arm around it, cuddles it, and carries it with him. It's like, you can't do that. We've got to start getting with the rhythm of God and nature and creation. So we're moving with that rhythm. And then man's health will stay with that rhythm. So this is why these autoimmune things will only lead you into wrong thinking. Now, if you're this lady, I think, is dealing with probably leukemia. I'm not sure right now, but it's good that the bone marrow is intact. This is important. Some chemical medications literally chew up a man's bone marrow, and acid retention of the lymph can also, acid retention can chew up anything. But would it be the blood that's chewing up the bone marrow? No. And if you have to use an anti-inflammatory in any way, what's the problem? If you have to use a steroid like prednisone or cortisone or something like that, what's the problem? Acidosis, inflammation. Let's transfer the word inflammation, which is a defined immune response, to what? And you're always going to find at the core of all problems that the acid chemistry dominates the problem. Not base chemistry. Now, there are base chemistry problems, no question. But for our sake of looking at it and to keep it simple, most problems are acid chemistry problems, acidosis, because man's diet is highly acidic. not highly alkaline, and you have to be a certain way to get alkalosis. Now, so you have to understand that this body's responding according to its needs. So when acids start building up in tissue or things are too acidic, what aspects, what does the body use as prednisone? What does the body use as an antacid? Or let's just use their word, anti-inflammatory, same thing. Antacid, anti-inflammatory, same thing. What would you use? You would use anything that dominates in base chemistry. Cholesterol is the body's main antacid. Remember that? Calcium is a big antacid. We can steal it out of everybody's bones, connective tissue, teeth, fingernails, and everywhere else, and we do. So those are the two that you see as you run too far down the acid road. There goes your sodium and your chlorides. And you'll see that. And when you see your sodiums go low, hope it's just the adrenal glands. The medical community says that I am making antibodies, autoantibodies. Your body only is protecting itself and defending itself. Always remember that. Your job is to fix the why it's doing that, because it's not going to stop until you do that. And the problem is, if you suppress the body's doing that, that makes things much worse when you stop it. Things explode. Good example, just stop prednisone after you've been on it a while and see what happens. That lady's skin is a good example. It can just explode like that. Especially if you've ever been on steroids, you can get skin conditions like that. And that's not the order of the day. We got to quit suppressing and making people hold their acids until it breaks them down. That's medical thinking. Naturopathic thinking, true naturopathic thinking, is to expectorate, to clean, to get these acids out and fix why your body isn't moving them well. And, of course, a lot of people early on didn't understand the connection with the kidneys. Against my own healthy tissues, and in the case right now, my own red blood cells. Is there so much acidosis? Now, clean your spleen, dear. You've got to clean your spleen. The spleen is another organ that directly affects the blood and lymph. Matter of fact, I've always said it's how the blood cleans itself into the lymph system beside the kidneys. Is there so much acidosis in my tissues that my immune system is starting to see my tissues as foreign and trying to attack it? Probably just some damaged cells, dear. But probably more involved than just the acidosis. But if you damage cells, that's the job of white blood cells. That's the job of neutrophils and lymphocytes, is to take what to what? Damaged cells to where? Not the blood, to where? The lymph. And where do they end up? They go to the lymph nodes. And who's in the lymph nodes waiting for damaged cells? Macrophages. Yes, yes, yes. What's the bacteria doing in the lymph nodes? Waiting for what? Sewage, acids. Absolutely. Why would you disturb either one? Getting cells healthy in the body stops the body from breaking itself down. The body's not trying to attack itself. It's trying to deal with damaged cells because they become part of the problem. So this is just, nature in its thing. We have to learn that in nature, the strong survive, the weak are terminated, eliminated. And I think it's an important policy of nature to sustain these biospheres like planet Earth. Amazing. Amazing. Did you catch the other night of the universe on the orbits, all about the orbits? I thought that was pretty cool. I know that I need to clean out the acidosis in my tissues through detoxification. I also know that I have kidney weakness due to lupus nephritis. We keep blaming. See, here's the thing. This lady is blaming lupus for damaging her kidneys. And this is part of the problem that I'm trying to shift in you guys. Quit blaming diseases for our problems. They're illusionary. They don't exist. What damages kidneys? Lupus? What's lupus? Besides acidosis, virals, and things like that. But, see what I'm saying? We're blaming some made-up conditions or blaming nature for our problems instead of who do we blame? I can't point a finger at you guys blaming for my teeth falling out up here. Years of dental work up there and stuff like that. I can't blame you on that. I have only one finger to point. Now, so this is the thing, is that we can only point the finger at ourselves. Yes, this is a very unconscious level. And so, absolutely, don't blame anything. This is just the nature of it is, and you're waking up in a hellhole. And you just got to fix yourselves and get yourselves back in line if you want to. But don't blame a disease for the kidneys. Blame proteins. Blame chemistry that you're bringing into your body. You're the one. You're the one shoveling it in. Me too. Is my immune system attacking my kidney tissue, causing nephritis? Please. You got to understand, it's acids causing nephritis. Acids. And just what you said, the kidney tissue is very damaged by acids. Absolutely. And what's the next word that links to acids? Proteins. If this is the case, I know I would need to really work on my kidneys. No kidding. If you're with me, you are working with your kidneys, dear. Adrenal glandular that you're supposed to over the phone and stop my lymphatic points to stop pulling on so much lymph and just work on eliminating. I would still be doing mostly fruit to the lymph. I guess they'll address this out there. The rest of that anyway. Robert, this is from Cindy. This is your lady in California with tumor. Oh, yeah, this lady's dealing with a huge tumor, and her medical doctor told her originally it was just a staph problem, not cancer, and it ended up being a huge tumor. But Kaiser told her it was a tumor. She took an antibiotic and it dried right up. Remember, it was leaking lymph fluid. Yeah, look at that. She has black salve and is going to start that on the 16th. She's getting a lot of pressure from her family to do chemo radiation, so she's waiting on the black salve to sneak it so her family doesn't know. It's not a very big thing. And better to do black salve and stuff like that, to do chemo. Did you hear the news on chemo? Anybody now, somebody copy that news. It was on Fox News. I'm sure it was on all the channels. Just record that and play it over and over. And play it over and over when you're headed toward the chemo pit. So many people afterwards come to me crying what they did. So many people. And my heart goes out, but fear dictates down here, and they know it. They know it. This is Natalie. I recently came across your videos, and I really enjoy watching your videos. Thank you, sweetheart. Very helpful. I have 2 children. And I started experiencing extreme fatigue when my breastfed son was 5 months old. He's now almost 2 years old. And the extreme fatigue hasn't gone away. Well, you can just bet that the one area you have to look at, sweetheart, is your adrenals. No question with that. Watch your fingernails and everything. Any postpartum depression, anything like that, leads to parathyroid. So look at that. But fatigue like this is generally adrenal fatigue. Hard to take care of babies so much and everything. And, you know, kidneys and adrenals are given. So I would say that 99% of all people have it to a different degree or other. And the younger you are, the more involved you have adrenal weakness and therefore neurological weaknesses and steroid problems. And you see a lot of both in the young people, tremendously so. In extreme low blood pressures, low blood sugars, you know, the quick to get ADD, ADHD, things like this. You know, it used to be humans could take a little neurotoxicity without going into these sort of things. Now, there's no way. One vaccination can do it. I've gone to the doctors many times explaining to them that I have this problem. And I was basically told it was because I was a new mom. Well, there you go. Honey, it's just because you're a new mom. You got a little 2-year-old, terrible twos. Remember that? That's all it is. No big deal. Don't worry about your kidneys. If you're not filtering, it doesn't matter. We'll get it on the flip side. And now I'm experiencing more strange symptoms with my daughter, my second child, along with the fatigue. I'm having a lot of digestion problems and even recently have been experiencing heartburn when I wake up. Ugh. I have been getting a tingling in my left leg, feeling nauseous. Sometimes I have cold extremities, tingling feeling on my tongue, and even on my face and neck. I am breastfeeding, but I have to say my daughter is very healthy. She is only 15 weeks old. Oh, cute. But she really is doing well. My concern is that maybe I am not getting enough of a certain nutrient. No, I think this is a much more serious problem, sweetheart. And that could, at some point, shortchange her, and obviously that worries me. If that was the case, obviously, if you're following this, your diet is pretty good. You can add more nutrition by juicing greens if you would like, and adding the superfood blend. We've got what I call God's Garden Superfood Blend. That's number 2, has all the juices, the greens juiced and powdered. My favorite being alfalfa. So it's a major pack of nutrition. A lot of breastfeeding moms are using that formula to enrich their nutritional side of life. So let's say that we handled that side of life. That would give you a boost in energy. But I want to think deeper here. I don't like the fact that you're waking up with heartburn. This all just suggests interstitial lymphatic constipation to me. It sounds like your lymph system and your kidneys and all are a bigger problem than you realize. I would look at my eyes and see where I stand that way, dear. I have been doing some research for myself because the doctors can't seem to help me. I came across B12 deficiency, and I could relate with almost all the symptoms. Yeah, because every symptom in the world is related to B12. Please go past that. Your problem is in the adrenals, which is where the cofactor of B12 is at issue. Your adrenals, think of B12, think adrenals. Not meat and vegetables. Think of adrenal glands. Same thing with low iron levels and everything else. Go to the adrenal glands. This is where all these issues are dealt with, or created, I will say. I'm not trying to self-diagnose. Well, you should be able to self-diagnose, sweetheart. That's your job. You're allowed. You're from God. Man didn't take away your right to be able to look at yourself and self-diagnose yourself, please. But don't have anybody else diagnose you, or you could be practicing medicine without a license. I take a prenatal vitamin with B12. Now, pop to the superfood blend. Get rid of these vitamins and stuff and start fixing the areas that you're having problems with, and that's your adrenal glands, no question. But I don't think this is enough. I think I might have an absorption problem. Now we're getting to the real problem, especially if you have the heartburn in the morning. Then you're going to have the interstitial lymphatic constipation, meaning your lymph system in the wall of your gut is backed up. Well, that means your kidneys and what? Adrenals are not working right. There we go. And then, of course, we were talking about earlier what happens to the lymph system if it's stagnant in the body too long. Absolutely. This lymph fluid gets hardened and thickened. You ever cough up these hard little mucus plugs? Well, after years of this and you get thickened, hardened mucus plugs in your small bowel wall, don't think you're going to absorb in that, because you're not going to do that. And I think you hit yourself right on the head when you said malabsorption is what I was thinking about. But I'm also thinking about, let's go to why you would have it, and let's go right over to the kidneys and adrenals and why you're so tired. Check your blood pressure in both arms when you really feel tired and see what it is. And, by the way, check your blood sugar, because when you run low blood pressure, you're going to run low blood sugar. Now, low blood pressure and low blood sugar means what glands are in trouble? The adrenal glands. I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow. You keep going to the wrong docs, man. Send your blood test in, along with something else I can get tested for. You can get tested till hell freezes over, sweetheart. Diagnose yourself, get yourself straightened around, and start getting on the raw foods and really going down this hill. Even though you're breastfeeding, there are some herbs you can use, particularly for the kidneys and adrenals, because if you got them, that little girl's got them worse. So whatever will help you will help her too. You can't hurt anybody by helping them. You know, unless you're like my son, you keep giving them too much. I should also say I don't eat a terrible diet. My family and I try to eat all organic and drink a lot of fresh fruit and vegetable juices whenever possible. You see, that's interesting. Listen to this. My family and I try to eat all organic and drink a lot of fresh fruit and vegetable juices whenever possible. The thing is, I've never been able to fully detox. Well, the thing is most people think that when you wake up to health, you can just change your diet back a little bit, add a few more vegetables and a few fruits, and get rid of some of the nastier stuff like dairy products and stuff, and have a little meat maybe and stuff like that, and you're going to feel better. That's true. But in some cases, your things are getting too far along for even that to make you feel better. Sometimes you have to go, what to the wall and really start detoxing the body. The problem is you're breastfeeding. And 14 months, though, pretty much time you can start getting her off and get her on fruit juices. I would do it and then hit my body full bore because mommy needs some help. And little girl's about ready to come off anyway. She needs to start going on fruit juices and introduce herself to, I mean, I've got a 7-month grandson that's eating. So all I can tell you is that, of course, I call him Warrior Dude because this is what he's coming. He's here as a warrior. I was told that big time, and you could tell it in him. Gee, many Christmas. I mean, 7 months he's eating and literally walking. I mean, this guy was trying to get out of his skin. This soul was so powerful, it hasn't stopped. So it's like, we got some high souls coming to the planet. So hopefully we'll have some help here. But, like I said, your time to getting your girl into the fruits and the berries and the melons, start getting that brain regenerated, and you really need to get on a good detoxification program, get your kidneys and adrenals up, and get your lymph moving, or these things will escalate. And the retention of lymph never breeds anything happy or healthy, and not good. I live in a really small town, and there aren't any areas close by that do colonics. Well, you don't have to do colonics. Get on bowel formulas. That's plenty good. Better. Good bowel restorative formulas, not laxative. Good bowel restorative formulas are far better than any colonic because of their action on the cells of the bowel wall and that. So I thought maybe it would be a better idea to do it at home colonic. Yeah, you could. But let me see. Thought about diet for my 2-year-old. Fruits, berries, and melons. What else? 2-year-old, he's a little frugivore. He's a little frugivore. Apples, apple sauces. Start getting your fruit bowls. Lots of bananas. A little bit of coconut would help there and mature the brain more. Now you're mature. You're keeping this boy's kidneys, the lymphs moving. You're maturing the brain, and what can I say? If you want to pop some greens, go ahead. He doesn't like meat? Well, and what types of food? Yeah, you don't want to start these kids on dead tissue and milks and stuff like that. But I want to make sure he's getting everything he needs. Well, Natalie, if we get rid of the concept of the American Dietetics Association, man will get healthy and we'll lose some of these idiotic concepts that hold no factors in reality of chemistry and physics and anything else. The typical, even though they changed their pyramid, it still has all the different combinations in there that don't digest well together. They still combine proteins and starch. They give you a little milk on the side. Grains are still a big part of they like America fat. Who's promoted grain eating more than anyone else? The American Dietetics Association. And then you hear the news bitching about people being obese, and yet you got Kellogg cereals everywhere, you got breads everywhere, you got starches everywhere. What do you expect? Okay, this is Carlu, 2007. Pretty picture. Looks like up in the Virginia, or up in the hills somewhere, like that. Good night, sir. I'm from Argentina. Woohoo! I've heard some good things about Argentina, my friend. Some very good things. Got some good friends over there. And I'd like to know, how can I be in your program or seminars online? And if it's possible, I would like you to respond to me. I'll have them do that. I'm a follower and viewer of Dan MacDonald. Good deal. And I read about raw food and fasting, also in a raw 100% practice for 5 months. Mary, go Mary, good Mary. And listen, in Argentina, pass around the good news and get all your friends on the raw. Here you guys got some good cattle, but I'd stay away from eating them, you know, and just get your health back. Get into more fruit farms and stuff like that, sweetheart. Thanks for your input, Mary. But I think I will run some live seminars online maybe, but I don't know. Guys, give me some feedback what you want, and I'll see about setting it up like that. Be happy to do something like that. So thanks, Mary. Thanks, Mary. Lashandra Green. Hi, sweetheart. I was asked to take it. Oh, this was something else. Yeah. We talked about that on our last video. Thanks, Lashandra. You know, people, there are going to be people that get out of sorts, and there's just nothing you can do about it. There's a lot of hurting people, and I feel sorry for them. And thanks, Dano. I appreciate you calling in and talking to us like that. Thanks, buddy. I know you're out there. And man, I'm out there with you too. Don't think I'm not. That's one of my problems, is that when you're in pain, I'm in pain. I'm not sitting here detached from your problem, and I'm trying to be. My problem is I'm not a detached person totally like that, and so I care for you just like you do. So I just wish I could wave a magic wand. So the problem is there is no magic wands, and we have to learn that. We have to learn that we have to take full responsibility. We have to teach our children that, and that our health particularly. We've been led and sold a bill of goods. We're here at you know, the marketplace, as Jesus said, the marketplace. And it has a lot of implications at a lot of levels. But basically, this is the marketplace, so all the information you're receiving is to buy goods of something or another. So you have to sift through this marketplace at this level in human history and decide what's good and what's bad for you. And particularly when it comes to the human condition. So you've seen what man's eating has done to him to this point. So this is all the milks, this is all the meats, this is all the cereals. So you see firsthand where man is. Out of 5 people, 4 people have cancer. The amount of young people on dialysis is huge, probably up 10,000%. So there's nothing. Obesity is out the roof. And so who are we blaming?
Can I come and do eyeballs?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's time for me to cut this, so let me finish this up. And yeah, absolutely. Okay, you can leave that open. So I'm going to have to cut this. We have to share this room for eyeballs here. So keep hanging on. My name is Susie. Here's Susie. I'm a 53-year-old female with MS. I have also had Bell's palsy in the past that affected my right side of my face. I've gotten gluten-free. Get more than gluten-free, sweetheart. Look at that. View that lady with the MS on the YouTube and really get yourself there. You want to get yourself to 100% fruits, berries, and melons. From that, you want to get up at the upper circ, brain and nerve. Key, do you have any brain lesions, I take it? But get up here, get those kidneys and adrenals. Key factor in MS. Adrenals. Parasympathetic. Drain this. Clean up the GI tract and get yourself out of this MS. I've already gotten the brain. Oh, yeah, baby. I want to get the adrenal formula. Yeah. Now, you've got to do the glandulars. You got to get the 400s and those new pure ones and take off. My question is, do you think I will be able to get the movement back in my facial muscles? Absolutely. I don't fully recover. I didn't. Absolutely. No. You don't anybody accept what they have. Don't accept it. Make your body come back and you win, okay? You will. So don't take that. Absolutely. When I had the bout with Bell's palsy. You'll get this now. I've already seen an improvement with the MS by going gluten-free. If you've seen it that quick, imagine what you'll see at 100% raw. Imagine what you'll see at 100% fruits, berries, and melons. With the right herbs and everything, you're going to kick this in the butt. Susie, go for it. but I'm sure I will like the results. I use forearm crutches to walk, but my main thing right now is my friend telling me that my face is... No. You keep going, regenerate, move those limbs. Also, I'm taking these herbals and eating properly. I should continue to take my medication from the doctor prescribed, right? That depends until he tells me otherwise. I currently take a cholesterol pill. Deepak Chopra, tons of medical doctors have dispelled the theory of the statins. Forget the statins. Understand that one of your reasons why your cholesterol up is acidosis. This is your lymph system, and it's chewing on your nervous systems. Get rid of the pill. And, I mean, you got to do what you do. If it was me, there's no way I'm going to take something like that's going to damage me. I'm going to understand that cholesterol is only up because my acidosis is up, and that's my lymph system, and I'm going to deal with my lymph system firsthand. Because even though we're going to brain and we're working with nerve regeneration and all this, we got to go causative factor. Get rid of the cause. Get rid of the cause, address the cause. And the cause is always acidosis in the lymph system. Be careful about that drug that you're using from your neurologist to walk, Susie. Just be real careful about that. I'm sorry. Considering oranges are around 50 calories each, an amount like that would be only 300, 500 calories. Boy, if you eat 15 oranges that size at one setting, it's not about calories. You already got plenty. You don't need any more. Think about magnetics. Absolutely. Fruit also digests super fast, so this is not enough for a filling meal. It was for me, that's for sure. Raw saucer style. Hey, honey, it sure was for me. Let me tell you, that was more than adequate. I just think we're barking up the wrong tree when we're using the word calories. I really do. I just think we're barking up the wrong tree there. Unfortunately, my God, I gotta go. Oh crap! There's just I wish I so much I'd love to talk to you guys about. Let's see if I can. I'll have Chris keep this on, and maybe in the through the weekend I'll come in here and run 3 or 4 hours for you. But I've so much, and I just enjoy talking to you. There's so much to learn, and all you guys that are suffering, and Susie with the mess, you get yourself out of these things. I'll show you how to get out of Bell's palsy and everything else. And so don't forget to have us help you with that. We do have some eyes to go over here, so need more time. But I think you guys are getting it. Some of you guys that are really getting it are helping those that are struggling with it. I'm real proud of you. Love you all so much. You all have fun today. I'll see if I can't sneak in here this weekend and give you 3 or 4 or 5 more hours, and maybe we can get down to these questions a little more. And I know they're so important. And again, remember this always. If you're suffering, you're struggling, and you need to pick up the ringy-dingy, because I'll tell you, I know we're busy with the ringy-dingy, but we are for you. So, because we want us all to become one. 11-11.